Well, we are back for another episode.
We don't know for how long, but we're back.
Yeah. Well, who knows what's going to happen tomorrow.
This is true. That's right.
It's,
Heaven's Gate.
Yeah, heavens knows, that's for sure. It's, so it's April 7th. Tomorrow we're supposed to have this major eclipse.
Yeah, lunar eclipse.
Yeah, something like that. And everybody's talking about it like it's a government conspiracy.
Lunar eclipse, solar eclipse.
Solar eclipse. It's
Yeah,
during the day.
I was wondering.
During the day is solar eclipse, I guess.
I
I think we
reckon.
just had a lunar eclipse not long ago.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm never awake for those.
Me neither.
But no, they are talking about it's kind of traveling like from the southwest up to the northeast, kind of.
Yeah, kind of, sort of. It's kind of like cutting us off. Like I think they said up here, at least in South Carolina, I think we'll get 80% visibility or 80% totality.
Huh.
So I mean, it's going to get pretty dark here.
Yeah, it's going to be better than the last one because the last one, we were supposed to get 100% totality.
Yeah.
And at the time of the eclipse, we had a gigantic thunderstorm, so it didn't matter.
Really?
Yeah.
You didn't get to see the last one?
Not a bit.
I did.
And I got to see literally all hell breaking loose.
Well, that's probably because of the eclipse.
It was because the aliens come with the eclipses.
Exactly. It's something straight out of Creep Show.
Yeah. What was that? A comet. That was the Maximum Overdrive, the movie. You remember?
Oh, yeah. You mentioned the comet. I thought you were talking about the little short in the Creep Show with Stephen King in there where he went out there. He was kind of playing like this hillbilly type character, and he was on a farm, and he went out there, and he thought he was going to be rich because he went and found this comet. When he went over there, and it broke open, and he took it back to home, and next thing you know, he woke up because he's like naming the rock and everything. Oh, good. The next thing you know, he wakes up, and he's got all this green fur all over him, like it just bacteria or whatever got on him and just got into his skin, and he was just macramade his ass into the couch. So there you go.
Poor Stephen King. Yeah.
You know what they say? You can't kill Stephen King.
No. Well, they also say leave it alone.
Leave it alone.
Leave it alone. Yeah. So we got this solar eclipse coming, and some people are just losing their minds over this,
as one does.
The conspiracy theorists are out there, and I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, someone who believes in the paranormal, I'm not really that concerned about the solar eclipse. It's
not really.
an astronomical thing, and that's about all it is to it. It's not signs and wonders. It's not any of those things. I know some people have posted, some of my friends that are hyper religious and maybe just say a little more gullible than others, posted, it's going to pass over the city of Nineveh, Texas.
Yeah, I've been seeing that too.
Yeah, well, that's okay. Sure. Okay. Who cares? That's coincidence. That's just what it is.
I agree too. I'm on the same page now. I don't have the amount of Bible study that you do, Joey, but on the same hand, just people can't take things for what they are anymore at face value. It's a solar eclipse. It's going to pass by in a few seconds. Probably won't last long. It's going to get dark, about like a thunderstorm rolling up, and then it's going to move out of the area, and it's going to be done. Nobody's going to burst into flames, and if you do, then, still got time to change.
Yeah, that's true. But no, that's the big thing, and, I hate to point fingers at people like, some of the more interesting people like Alex Jones and stuff like that, because
They're turning all the frogs gay.
Yeah. Well, like we were talking about before we started recording, he's kind of got a track record of being right, and
in a sense.
Yeah. So I'm a little bit, I'm not going to believe that the eclipse is going to turn to, frilled Gila monster in New Mexico gay or anything like that, or the frogs in Wisconsin or anything like that. But, I think everything that was probably going to happen through the eclipse is easily explainable through people's paranoia and people doing stupid things.
Yeah, people being people.
So
stop peopling.
Yeah, it's really, really interesting. I was pulling up a couple articles here, and influencers. So the influencers. So whatever influencer means, I don't know. I guess that's somebody with a large following. So we are not influencers.
No.
They have been vocal. It's going to be the end of the days, basically. And I'm reading an article from Sky News. The vocal part of the internet who say that Monday will be the end of the world, starting in Carbondale, Illinois. Number one, I've never heard of Carbondale, Illinois. So the other part about that, it is not in the Bible.
No.
So I'm pretty good with that. The influencers have incorrectly mapped the eclipse path of totality to show it covers between 6 and 8 places called Nineveh. Incorrectly.
I mean, if you did a search on a Google map and see how many places were actually called Nineveh, or how many, this is the things they don't tell you, is like compare how many cities in the United States are actually called Nineveh, and then how many happen to just fall in the path of the solar eclipse.
Bethlehem, and there's a lot of places.
There's a Canaan.
There's a Canaan.
I know there's a Canaan.
It's right up the road from us. There's a whole city out there in the Middle East called Jerusalem.
100%.
So, yeah. But Nineveh is mentioned in the Bible, so some theorists are placing religious significance on this and on their incorrect mapping. In reality, the path which shows the total eclipse will cover 2 Ninevehs. So, Deuce Nineveh. And the others will see a partial eclipse like pretty much the rest of the damn world.
Yeah.
That's what we deal with, though, man. I don't dig at these people. It's just sometimes common sense is not so common when it comes to these things, and people will believe things like this, but won't believe in the paranormal.
That's what blows my mind, because that's a good point, Joey, and I'm glad you bring it up, because this is where I don't necessarily struggle with this myself, but I know several people who do, because they'll believe in this, and they believe that Jesus walked on water, and they believe that he performed miracles, but they'll believe in this because they want him to come back. Don't get me wrong, I want to be there too, but on the same hand, it's like do you not realize how many miracles Jesus performed with the dead? And, a lot of the miracles were paranormal, supernatural in themselves.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that I by strict definition, they are supernatural.
100%.
And no pastor will deny that.
They won't.
To label it paranormal, I think the moniker paranormal has come from to lean more towards the occult or spirits and stuff like that.
Yeah.
When in reality, paranormal and supernatural are roughly the same thing when
100%.
Translated from their roots.
Absolutely.
I think you got to put stuff, again, just like what we do when we do investigations, you got to put stuff in its place.
Exactly.
And it's got to have context. It's got to have understanding. We've been to, frankly, folks, we have been to
more than a handful of places now.
Yeah. And really, most of them have yielded no fruit.
Yeah, little to no activity.
Yeah. Not to say there's not activity there. The fact is, activity wasn't there when we were there.
Let's put it that way.
And the simple fact is that that's going to happen. I could go back and visit those places again, and it could be a completely different story. That doesn't say a place isn't haunted or has supernatural activity. There's not some attachment there. We just have to understand that in the context of things, what we can observe, and again, one of the last investigations we did, we had to be very clear with these folks. We're not conjurers. We don't do conjuring. We don't open portals and things like that. We are observers. From what we observed in the context we observed it in, we have to say that there was no activity there, or even there might, or at least the activity that we did find, or the interesting stuff we did find, we could find normal explanations, worldly, real world explanations. And I think a lot of people fail to understand those things when they also apply that in a religious context is that the fact is you can't name something that you can't say that God did something when another human being has the capability of doing the same thing.
I agree.
I fully believe God does the supernatural.
100%.
He does what we can't, but he won't do what we can. That's the general rule.
Well, makes sense.
So when we look at those things in those contexts, if I need money, I'm on a.
But if you can make money,
If you can make money,
then why would he give it to you?
exactly. If I'm capable of making money, why would he give it to me? If I'm working hard and doing all I can and it's not enough, that's different.
That's different. I agree.
So, and that is a very simplistic example, y'all. I'm not trying to
Yeah.
downplay it or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to put God in the context there that if we take something that the mundane things that humans are capable of doing, in reality, when we look at those things compared to things that God can do, they're very mundane and simple. If we say God does those mundane things for us, we have placed God in a box. We have tried to condition him to be like us
100%.
and not us like him.
There you go.
So there you go. That's kind of, that's your, well, it's Sunday, so there's your preaching for
There
today,
you go.
I guess.
I'll put it to you like this. This is the way I look at things. I know I've heard a lot of pastors over the year, just take, for example, Jesus is my doctor, Lord's my doctor. Well, then why do you go to the doctor?
Yeah.
You know why? Because God put those people in your path to help you.
Correct.
They didn't go to school all that time, and, they were led by something, and they were placed there for you to take advantage of.
Yep.
He was just like, Lord, why'd you abandon me? I didn't. I gave you, I sent a doctor. Hell, I sent a whole ambulance.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's
it
the
is what
thing
it
is that, yeah, if it is good, it's created by God, and if it is beneficial, it's created by God. However, the actions of those people are there to help you, and they do things that, yes, God can do all of that. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. But because we can, he doesn't have to.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I'm saying with that. But that's exactly right. When you look at some religious fundamentalists, zealots and things like that they, will refuse to go to physicians and stuff like that. And they believe in healing by faith alone. Mm-hmm. I think that's a very, very, very thin wire to be walking.
It's dangerous.
To be walking on. Yes, 100%. Mm-hmm. Simply because then you are denying the gift of what God given you in modern medicine.
I agree.
So you're denying his gift to prove your faith.
That's right.
I'm not sure that's the way he wanted it. I don't claim to know God that well sometimes.
That's right.
But I do claim that those good things wouldn't be here unless he wanted them to benefit us.
I agree. It's kind of,
he says everything works to the benefit of those that love him.
Yeah.
And call him by his name. So, I'm just saying, go to your doctor. That doctor may be an absolute atheist, whatever, but God used the good and the bad.
That's right.
So don't ever think short of that. And I know a lot of great doctors, and there's obviously a need. But going back to this eclipse thing, this all kind of goes back to people can get spun up, whether it's some type of religious zealot. It could be cult-like activity, not occult activity, but just cult-like activity. We had the Heaven's Gate people back in the day, and that was when we were
the Hale Bop comet.
Yeah, that was Hale Bop.
I remember seeing that.
Yeah,
that was it was what it was. It just looks like a rip in a black sheet of paper.
Yeah,
just looks like light shining through.
Yeah, and these misled people by some lunatic. That's the only way I'm going to describe it. You know, I could use other words, but they're super derogatory. More so than I usually speak. But this lunatic led these people astray, and it cost them their lives.
Yeah.
You know, when we see these events that occur, it's part of nature. It's just part of nature. It's part of the cosmos. It's part of, you know, it's predictable. It can be, you know, the scientists out there know these things
100%.
so extremely well. I don't see how we can apply the paranormal or the supernatural onto them.
Yeah. I know I've been seeing a lot of stuff on there, conspiracy theorists, you know, they were saying, oh, they're shutting down schools, they're doing this, they're doing that, the National Guard's getting involved, and they're calling, because all you crazy ass people run into where you could see it 100% totality and booking all these damn rooms, you're overcrowding cities.
Yeah.
And so that's why.
It's like, you make no sense because you're making no sense.
100%. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah. But no, I think that's part of, they've got to, there's, say what you will, most local law enforcement are not equipped to they're equipped to manage their crowd. They're equipped to manage their, people.
Define manage.
Well, I'm using manage in a really broad, sweeping brush here. But generally, it's law enforcement can handle things just above normal.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm saying.
Yeah.
When you start just inundating areas with thousands and thousands of more people that's supposed to be there, they don't have the capability or the capacity to do it. It's not any police officer's fault. It's not the community's fault. That's just what's not it's so above normal. They have to call in help.
Yep.
If not, they run the risk of bedlam.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you not, be prepared for that? So get your National Guard in there, get other assisting agencies in there to do that.
Right.
You don't think the city of Columbia, I'll use for an example, city of Columbia Police Department assists the USC Police Department and highway patrols there, along with several other agencies. Sleds actually there for those games, depending on what dignitaries are there for Carolina games.
That's right.
There's I know at least 4 different agencies that work together, and that's just a football game on a Saturday.
That's true.
So this is a once in so many year thing. You got hundreds of thousands of people that are relocating to small town USA. A lot of this is small town USA that's not highly prepared to manage these things. Overall, if something was to break out, they're just being cautious, because the other side to that, if they weren't prepared and something broke out, then they would be at fault for not being prepared. So I hate to say it, these communities can't win.
No. So
it just doesn't make any sense to me why people think like that. And number 2, I've got to go to work tomorrow, or today, or whenever the hell this thing is. I could really care. I might not even be outside when the eclipse goes on, because it is what it is. I could care less.
Yeah.
Hey, if it's the end of the world,
all I'm going to tell you is, if anybody offers you a glass of
Kool-Aid,
Flavor-Aid, then walk away.
Yeah, just walk away. Don't put on Nike tennis shoes and don't
tennis shoes.
Yeah, and don't drink Kool-Aid tomorrow. It might be special. It might be that spicy Kool-Aid.
Why is it spicy?
But
I got one for you. The wife sent me a video of Neil deGrasse Tyson, and he was talking about this. I'm assuming it's a comet, asteroid that is passing very close to the Earth next year, I think. It's either
2029, I think.
Okay, you know what? You saw the video I'm talking about.
I think I've heard the talk about that this thing's going to be like going to pass between like us and the moon distance or something.
Yeah, but I think he said like it's going to pass between. Basically, when he put it into words, it was like, so I think like our satellites that orbit Earth,
Yeah, it's going to be
at
like
24,000 feet.
Yeah.
It's going to pass under those. It's going to be like at 18,000 feet, but there's a specific window. And he said, I think it was like, I don't know, it's just a very small window. But years ago, they knew more about it, or they knew less about it. But now that it's approaching, I think it is 2029, 2030. And so if it goes through this little perfect place that they don't believe it will, but if it happens to do so, that the next time it comes past Earth, Earth's orbit will draw it in just enough this time around to
make something happen.
Oh yeah, to hit it the next time it comes back around. Now, see that, that terrifies me.
Yeah, that does.
I mean, because I have all seen Armageddon. And
I just let that son of a bitch hit right on top of Earhart, South Carolina. Is what I can say. Not that I want Earhart to go anywhere, but I just don't want to have to live with the apocalypse.
Oh, Lord. Can you imagine that shit?
Yes, I have often, and that's the scary part. I always think of the movie Book of Eli.
Okay, yeah.
With Denzel Washington.
Yeah.
You know, you never really know that he's blind.
Until the end of the movie.
To the end of the movie.
Yeah.
And then you still don't ever really get the true answer, but you kind of know.
Yeah.
I could be like Denzel Washington.
You could, yeah, because I definitely could see that.
Yeah, I could go feral as hell out there. But I don't know. I think I could be pretty dangerous. But my luck, I'd end up like in Mad Max or something like that, wearing tights with no shirt on or something with a mohawk.
You're talking about your luck. That's everybody else's luck. Oh, God, here comes Joey. He don't know how to dress. Run!
What is he doing with the homoerotic biker gang?
He got a ball gag in his mouth.
Exactly.
Oh, good times.
Oh, God, it's the Gimp. But no, I've seen that. And so, again, Neil deGrasse Tyson is one of those things that I put in its appropriate place. He's a mouthpiece for the science community, and he's extremely smart. I'm not digging on him whatsoever, but he is the celebrity scientist, just like the celebrity cooks on the Cooking Channel, Emerald, and all of those people.
True.
That's. I'm not saying anything he's saying is wrong. I think he is. There's probably a lot more truth than he's saying or telling. Maybe he knows it, maybe he don't. I don't know. I think he's entertaining, and I think I love listening to him, especially debating non-scientific people and how it makes them look kind of silly. Mm-hmm. But I kind of have to put him into that celebrity scientist status, you know.
Yeah.
You're not Einstein, you know.
He's a hell of a storyteller. I'll give him that.
100%. Like, he can tell a story, and he is interesting. He is 100% interesting. Yeah. I will watch him every clip I see of him.
He's this generation's Bill Nye.
Yeah. Except I think he's smarter.
Oh, hell yeah.
Because Bill Nye wasn't even a physicist or anything.
Was he not?
No, I don't think he had a PhD.
They just gave him a lab coat.
Yeah, he was just a science guy. Seems like he was an engineer or something. Well, like that. I don't know.
I don't know if you grew up, but I know I grew up on Mr. Wizard.
Oh yeah,
and he did everything in a sweater. So Bill Nye, not a science guy.
Not a science guy.
Bill Nye, the science guy.
Bill Nye.
Oh, wow. What is that down there at the Washington Times? I think we need to click on that. Solar eclipse will begin massive human sacrifice.
Oh, yeah. We are definitely looking at that shit.
Is that the Epoch Times?
Not the Epoch Times. What the hell is going on here?
Oh no, the solar eclipse has already taken effect to Joey's computer.
Yes.
Communications are down. Where's Led Zeppelin? Cue communication breakdown.
Ground control to Major Tom. This thing is acting special. It's this website I clicked on here.
Oh, that might have been my fault.
It could be the internet too. Going back to Bill Nye for just a second. Mechanical engineering.
Wow, a bachelor in science in mechanical engineering. Yeah.
What is Bill Nye's PhD in? Honorary doctorate in pediology. So that's like adult studies. That's like the bullshit. That's a bullshit. Okay. Sorry. I didn't mean to say that. I'll leave it like that. Is a bullshit degree pediology. Pedagogy. That's what I think is pedagogy. That's like the study of adults. Yeah, honorary doctorate of science. Yeah, so he's got a bachelor's degree. So do I. All right, I don't want to do that either.
No. Oh goodness.
All right, so on the cusp of Mondays, this came from the Washington Times because they're known for.
What's the date on that?
April 5th, 2024, so a day or 2 days ago.
Yeah.
On the cusp of Monday's total solar eclipse, the internet is swirling with suggestions including impending massive human sacrifice.
Like, are they talking about just one big-ass human or like...
Yeah.
Fat bastard, we need you.
I'm thinking this all ties into the Nephilim.
You think so?
No. It has nothing to do with that. But somebody's probably, the two people that are listening probably will go, ooh, Nephilim. Yeah, it's just a giant human.
Despite the lack of credible evidence. Do you hear that, folks? Credible evidence, yeah. Lack thereof.
That means there is none for y'all that don't understand that. These speculations have gained attention on social media platforms like Reddit.
There's your problem.
There you go. Okay, so don't go to Reddit for any news whatsoever. The predictions point to anticipated catastrophe triggered by the New Madrid fault line coinciding with the solar eclipse's path.
Where the hell is the New Madrid?
I didn't know there was such thing.
We're not in New Madrid, Old Madrid, or anything else. I'm sure this thing's got to go around the world. But
the post-game traction on Reddit has fueled rumors by overlaying the path of 2017 and 2024 solar eclipses, which intersect near the New Madrid size zone.
Stretching from Missouri to the southwest.
Oh, my God. If something were to trigger the fault line, like a earthquake.
Well, what does that's what I don't understand. But what the hell does a damn solar eclipse have to do with the fault line?
I don't know.
That's about the damn dumbest.
Bless them. I can't deal with them. Let's see. Best cheeseburger. You can see I was hungry as hell the last time I was
saw it earlier, but I wasn't going to say anything.
Sydney and I went diving last Sunday.
Oh, did you? Where'd you
go? There's a quarry down in Ravenel.
Oh, yeah. You told me about that.
And so after we dove and all that stuff, we get out and she goes, I want a big greasy cheeseburger.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And it was Sunday, so I was actually trying to look up and see if one of the food trucks that I know down in Charleston was open and go swing by there. But we found a place. It's called the No Bull Restaurant.
The No Bull Restaurant.
Yeah. It's got beef, and it was really good, to be honest with you. It wasn't like a smash burger. It was a more traditional burger, but it was a good burger. It was a really good burger.
God, I'd kill for a good burger.
Yeah, I was hoping for something like a big, Big Head Ed smash burger or something like that, but we did pretty good. So,
eat a damn Dagwood sandwich right about now.
Ooh. The solar eclipse is the Super Bowl for conspiracists. Yes. Let's see. Why solar eclipses are breeding grounds for conspiracy theories? Because people are crazy. But this is actually a good one. The Hill actually put it on there. A lot of this stuff does stem back from some of the folklore and stuff like that as well.
Yeah.
That it,
You got to think about it. Back when man first started to walk and fire was being created, shit, they looked up to the heavens and, they saw some of the stuff we're seeing now today take place. And they were like, oh my, what? They didn't know what to think of it at that point. Of course, everything to them was impending doom. And because everything here on earth is trying to eat me.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Chinese folklore, a lot of Chinese, it was the pursuit of the sun by sky dogs. I don't know. I'm not Chinese. The
Choctaw.
Choctaw had places, monstrous beings. The sun was being gnawed by a giant squirrel.
Okay.
Sure. So, yeah. We can, but again, it goes back to they did not have the scientific understanding.
100%.
They were trying to, within the context of their cultures, explain what was happening. And wild conspiracies drew from that. And when I say wild, I don't mean crazy. It was just, whether or not you believe it or not, ancient humans, pre-industrial age humans, had a lot of conspiracy theories and things like that. A lot of theories. To call them conspiracy theories, I don't think is right, because in the context of each culture, you have different beliefs. And a lot of those are based in your belief system, whether it's Christianity, Buddhism, Taoism,
Right.
Hindu, whatever it may be. So they were taking components of religion, which they felt like they understood, or they were at least more abreast in, and applying it to the natural world, trying to come up with things. And when you look at stuff like the Choctaw Indians, they had their beliefs and their gods, their deities. And so that was, for them, the Occam's razor test.
Mm-hmm.
When we look about the simplest answer is usually the most correct. They were using Occam's razor's theories back then, because that was the simplest answer for them, is their deities were doing it. The giant squirrel deity.
Yep.
To us, it does sound a little absurd.
Yeah, but we're so far ahead of them. So from where we sit, it does seem absurd.
But taking yourself back to during that time, it makes absolute perfect sense.
100%. I mean, because they didn't have Facebook in front of them. They didn't have Instagram or Reddit or TikTok or anything else.
But even that,
yeah,
you take, and see, this is where we have to take the Westernness out of it a little bit too.
Yeah.
You take your belief system out completely and replace it with another culture's belief system. And you bring that belief system forward to 2024. Is giant sky squirrels actually that big a stretch?
Not compared to some of the other shit we hear out there.
100%, right? So, if you sit there, you still understand today that they still have, when you look at Native Americans or any other culture that has some kind of quasi-religious component to it, they may not have scientific understanding, which is, Western European and general Western culture in general. They may not have that full understanding, or they may have set it to the side because they are so devout in their current belief system. And if you were able to be one of those members of those cultures, you would believe this.
Exactly.
So we can't always view the obscurity of something through our Western eyes. We have to look through the eyes of the people that are viewing it sometimes. Now, take that. The next step is the batshit crazy cultists and stuff out there that are making up stuff and have no historical basis or written basis or even oral tradition of, because you have to remember a lot of cultures are oral tradition. Or have some type of historical component to look at. Historical science is still science. However, there's just people out there making stuff up now to gain followers, to gain power. And people, unfortunately, there's people out there, whether you like it or not, that want power over other people.
100%.
And things like this is a way to do it. And that scares me more than anything. If the big rock from the sky comes down and hits the earth and we go the same direction as the dinosaurs did, that's what was meant to be. I'm sorry, that is what it is. Do I want it? No. But I have to accept it as that could be the future.
That is called kiss Jurassic Park goodbye.
Yeah. So, but the fact is, we have to accept it. That is what it's going to be. It's not that I want it, nor do I like it, but it is a truth. That eventually that will happen. Eventually, the super volcanoes will erupt. We will have another ice age.
I think that a lot of that boils back to a lot of the stuff that doesn't come from the sky, but just right here on Earth. That eventually, the Earth at its core is going to, just like with any other thing else, it's going to, God created paradise and we kind of destroyed it over time. And eventually all that shit's going to go haywire, the internal workings of what it is and what makes it this and that and the other, what makes the sun come up and down and all that other stuff for us. It's just all going to go batshit crazy. And
well, it goes back to nothing.
Because remember, time was that things were timed, things were aligned perfectly at one point. But what ended up happening? Hell, there's been what do you call it? What is those damn big ass waves? Those rogue waves? They get them all the time.
Tsunamis.
Yes, tsunamis that have been so large.
Also, a very good sushi restaurant.
Oh, but those are things that have happened. There have been tsunamis that have been so powerful in our lifetime that when they hit, they threw the Earth off its axis by, just a little bit. But over time, that little bit starts to add up. And then guess what? Now all of a sudden, I don't know how long ago that was, but when you look back at it as a bigger picture, look at what's happening now. We got damn earthquakes here in South Carolina where we've never had earthquakes before. And if we did, I never knew about it.
Well, that's the thing. I'm torn right there. I think we had them.
You think we had them, we just couldn't feel them? Or they have just kind of gotten more powerful over years?
No, I think they've always been in Elgin. Sorry, anybody listening from Elgin, but y'all are kind of, with my components of emergency management that I deal with at my job, I get the alerts anytime an earthquake goes off in South Carolina. It's always Elgin. I'm sorry. It just is what it is.
Does it sit on a fault line?
No, it's part of Lake Murray. Lake Murray wasn't supposed to be there.
That's
we
true.
made it.
That's right.
And what some scientists have theorized is the increased pressure that we took all the dirt away and we made this reservoir. And then we increased the pressure in that area on the Earth's crust is causing these earthquakes. Now, that's a theory.
Yeah.
That's a theory. Now, here's the simple fact. I think earthquakes happen. We have a major fault line to Charleston fault.
Oh, absolutely. I'm just waiting on that one.
So, and we've had big earthquakes down there in the past. I think earthquakes have happened. I think hurricanes have happened. They've always been as regular as they are now. The fact is that the speed of information is as fast as it's ever been.
Oh, that makes a lot more sense. Yeah, I agree with you.
Okay, and I'll give you the greatest example, and my boss will probably crucify me if he listens to this, but I'm not going to. We get notifications on the regular, like almost weekly, for these traveling storm fronts coming across the U.S., the tornado storm fronts. We had one that did damage up in your town. we get notifications of those all the time. 25 years ago, we didn't get notifications of those. And guess what? That stuff still happened.
Yeah.
It happened in those areas. But guess what? We had to wait until the newspaper came out.
That's just true.
Or-
To read about it.
Or tune in your radio or your TV and maybe hear about it on the news, the night afterwards or the day after, because they had to come report it.
True.
And then get back and write the story on it. So it's the speed of information can be passed. They can determine that a tropical storm will develop within a day or so of a front leaving the coast of Africa, or a tropical storm develop in the Mediterranean, the Caribbean. The Caribbean's where hurricanes kind of go through. They can see and predict those things with a lot more accuracy now.
Oh, yeah.
And the speed of information coming out. So it looks like we're having a lot more of them. But the fact is, 150 years ago when we didn't have all of this stuff, they were just big windy storms that they had a couple times a year.
Yeah, because the rest of us were just damn ostriches with our heads stuck in the ground because we didn't know about it.
So I think that a lot of this stuff is the simple result of
that makes more sense.
Of the availability of information online, the internet. That's the greatest. The internet is the greatest and worst thing that humans have ever created.
I ain't gonna lie.
So
that's why we're here.
Yeah, it is. It absolutely is. But we enjoy doing this stuff, and we're trying to use it for good.
Yeah.
And this, like today is not a normal paranormal. We're not talking about spooky ghosts.
No.
We're kind of talking about the weirdlings that are the weird stuff that's happening. But the fact is that a lot of this stuff is occurring. We know about these earthquakes when minutes after they happen instead of days.
Yeah.
Maybe we didn't even hear about them or care about them because our local newspaper, it was not important to them to report in Bamberg County what was happening up in Irmo and Elgin and places like that. So we didn't, how many hurricanes, for an example, has had an effect in this area?
Several hundreds probably over the years, but I mean, just depends on how big of an effect talking about.
Yeah, but when we look at where we live, we're out of the coastal wind zone. Mm-hmm. So even any hurricane type effects are really not that.
Yeah, it has to come. It has to be a large ass storm for us to feel it.
And it's got to be it's got to come in at a very specific angle and area.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that line up for that, and it just really, we don't see a lot of those things.
Yeah.
When they did, they called, you had the storm of whatever. And the one thing I will say, and this is completely Joey's opinion, a heavy hurricane year, snow the following winter.
You think so?
Yeah.
Well, see, I know they're predicting, this is supposed to be one of the worst ones that we've had.
Hurricane seasons?
Yeah.
Yeah, they said that last year.
Well, see, that's what I told my
before.
wife. She was telling me the other day, oh, they're predicting. I said, they said that 4 or 5 damn months ago. Yep. I said, how can they tell me that, but they can't tell me if it's going to rain tomorrow or not? I mean, I understand it's all based on past patterns and, wind and, all this barometric pressure and everything else. I get all that. But if you can't tell me if it's going to rain at my house or not, because I'll get a notification, hey, it's raining. It is? Because it must be on the other damn side of town because it's not here. But
so
there you go.
As we get more historical data, I think the predictions get better.
Yeah.
I will say that. However, there's a component of predictions that can't be quantified, and that is nature.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
So you can't absolutely dictate what nature. You can read the patterns and make a good educated guess. But the fact is, you will not. It's kind of like petting a snake. You can pet a snake 100 times. It's the 101st time that he might bite you.
100%. That's the Ian Malcolm from Jurassic Park. That's what he was talking about. The chaos. You can never predict. There's just shit that's going to be thrown out there, whether you see it or not. You are not going to be able to predict it because it's just the unknown.
Yep. So and we have those things, and yes, we are going to have an eclipse tomorrow. Yes, it's going to get a little bit dark for 4 minutes or 3 minutes, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then everybody's going to move on about their day. I remember eclipses when I was in school, and it was kind of a big deal.
Yeah, because you got to go outside, not be in damn class anymore.
Yeah, not being let out of school for half a day.
For real.
Yeah.
The damn wind picks up. Send the kids home. Why?
We used to have tornado drills where, with the book over your head in the hallway and all that
But
stuff.
see, that's the thing. The kids still have tornado drills. All right, well, if you're going to be in a tornado drill, if a tornado happens, use your knowledge and let the kids, let them activate.
And guess what? Most of these schools are built to a lot higher level than our homes.
100%. There's some children out there, and I'm not talking bad about parents or kids or where they live, but some kids don't have what other people have. And so some people may end up going where there is no home. By the time they get home, if it's bad enough weather outside, they may get home and there's no more home.
Yeah, or, their home is just not strong enough to support those type things. And so, there's all kinds of things that you look at with that stuff, but we can't sit here and say the eclipse is going to turn frogs gay and that all the chickens eyes are going to bulge out and they're going to lay orange eggs. Yeah. And all of those things, because we know that this is just a natural event. Will there be weirdness? Yes. Mostly because we cause it or perceive it. Are animals going to act a little strange? Yes, because animals are highly in tune to their environment. My chickens in my yard out there, I love my chickens, but they don't go by Joey's watch.
No.
They go by the chicken watch.
That's right.
At 5:30, that damn rooster's going to start. He don't care whether it's daylight savings time or whatever.
That's right.
He don't care. 5:30 every morning he's going to start. And at 6:15 is their average. I watched the chickens at 6:15 in the evening. There's still good daylight outside where we are here. They're all in the roost.
They're ready to go to bed. That's their routine. That's their schedule.
So you think when the sky's starting to darken,
You think they might go in, or
it is? Yes. Is that abnormal? Yes.
So let me
But
ask you
it's an
this.
absolute result of their being chickens.
But also on the same hand, all right, so when we plunge into darkness, when we come back out, do you think he's going to think the sun is rising and go to crowing again?
Hell, you heard him crowing out there in the middle of the day and the sun's out right now. He's crazy as hell. I don't think he's got good sense. He's one step away from the chicken in Moana, whatever.
Mona.
Mona.
I'm going to start calling it that now.
Mona. Whatever. The Disney movie with the rock in it. Yeah, with the rock in it. Or gobbles the turkey in South Park. That's better. Gobble. But that's they're going to do weird stuff like that. The chickens are acting weird. No, they're acting like chickens.
But us, as supposed to be as high up on the food chain as we are, there's no sense for people to act the way they're going to act tomorrow, because it's going to happen.
We are not high up on the food chain. I'm going to go into. We may have intelligence, but I will have. So one of the big arguments been going around on podcasts is silverback gorilla versus grizzly bear. Who would win? I'm not talking.
I mean, you talking? Okay, I mean, we talking about like two of the they're in the prime of their species.
Prime, Rocky Mountain grizzly, not a brown bear, not a Kodiak or anything.
Okay.
So Rocky Mountain grizzly and silverback gorilla, lowland gorilla.
I'd say the bear.
I want to go there so bad, but the more I look at it, I've actually invested time on the crapper, obviously, on thumbing through. So grizzly bear's bite force is something like 1,080 or something like that bite force. A gorilla's is like 3,000.
Holy shit. But the bear has a bigger mouth.
A bear does have a bigger mouth. Here's the other part to it. So the bears are generally larger.
True.
Oftentimes 200 to 300 pounds larger. However, pound for pound, the amount of weight that a grizzly bear can move versus a gorilla is quite less. Gorillas are way stronger overall, and they have primal reasoning.
This is true.
They don't act on complete instinct.
Yeah, they don't act on hunger. They are
More calculated.
Yeah, exactly.
And I guess it would depend on which grizzly bear versus which gorilla, because we know dogs can have completely different personalities.
100%.
Stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
So I'm actually, I initially thought, well, it's grizzly bear, because it's a grizzly bear. It's an American symbol of mean badassery, right?
Yeah.
Fact is that I really think a gorilla can tag that head.
I think he'll get his licks in, definitely. But I think in the end, I might be wrong now, because just because you're bigger than your opponent, don't necessarily mean anything, because who's going to tire out first? You know what I mean?
Well, I think if I come across Conor McGregor, he's whipping my ass, and I'm way bigger than Conor McGregor.
I don't know, Joey. Joey. If you could catch his ass,
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't want to. I don't even find out.
He's got. I mean, if he's going to kick your ass, he's got to come in close enough.
Yep.
Because, I think you might got him on reach.
I got him on reach, I know, but I'm not going to try it. Now, I think if you took that and put like a Kodiak bear there, I think the sheer brute size and strength, it equals out and everything, because you're looking at another 400 or 500 pounds difference on top of the original 2 to 3. I think you got a different story there. But I think what was the
McGregor?
one? Yeah, no, Vanilla Gorilla there.
Magilla Gorilla?
Magilla. Vanilla Gorilla. That was probably racist. But Magilla Gorilla. And I think he's got him right now. I think a big old silverback gorilla would destroy a grizzly bear within the first short period of time. Now, I think if the bear got the right lick, because they can kill a moose with one lick, one swipe. They got the long claws and all of that. I think if he got the right lick in at the right time, I think that changes things. But I think if you had a one-on-one contest, I think you got a dead bear at the end of it.
Yeah, I think if the bear was fighting all he could as best as he could and wasn't getting any licks in, or just everything was for naught, then I think the gorilla has a chance. But I'm still not 100% on that.
I don't know. Them gorillas are strong, man.
Hell yeah.
I don't want a chimpanzee will whip our tails.
Mm-hmm.
And but they're going people. Yeah, you're going to have weird stuff. The dogs are going to act funny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is what it is.
It is.
Speaking of acting funny, we had something happen the other night that was in the house. This is, I can say it's paranormal, and I don't have an explanation for it.
Okay, I want to hear this.
It's not as drastic as you think. So, for years, we had one of our cats named Jumper.
Mm-hmm.
It was my wife Amanda's cat. And I say that because he slept in her lap every night. Every time she was sick, he was there with her. Right there. Black and white, beautiful cat. Really, he was a big, lanky Tom, was fixed. But he was just a big old lanky tomcat, but really a really nice, good house cat.
Yeah.
About 3 years ago, we ended up having to put him down because of old age. He ended up, we think he started with the diabetes thing. We think he had pancreatic cancer. It's a common thing.
Yeah.
Feral cat, yard cats and stuff like that. Well, we had him put down, and Amanda had him cremated.
Mm-hmm.
And we have it in the little curio behind her chair. His little urn thing, and they even did a paw print. The place was really awesome. And he would be probably 17 or 18 years old by now. So he was probably 15.
Mm-hmm.
We had to put him down. our oldest cat, Gremlin, who has kind of been my cat for years, I brought her in. She was a little kitten. She's got the curl tail.
Mm-hmm.
And but she's got a little curly tail at the end. Her tail's flat and it doesn't really bend. She's kind of deformed. Her tail is. She's 15 now.
Mm-hmm.
And she's showing signs of age.
Yeah.
The teeth thing, we have to feed her softer food, but she's doing pretty well, gets around. She's pretty ornery, but, she moves and does pretty good. But she's gotten where she comes at night and gets in Amanda's lap and goes to sleep.
Curls up.
Well, Amanda usually has a heating pad on or something like that, so the warmth and stuff like that. Well, the other day when I was at work, Amanda was in her chair resting. Gremlin gets up there and is staring back over her head.
Like looking past her.
Looking completely past her, straight up looking at the urn. And Gremlin purrs and everything, and she's very vocal. She's a very vocal cat. She row, row, row. She's got a raspy voice. She like rowed a few times. And then she jumped over to the other chair and never lost sight of it. Amanda got up and looked to see if there was a bug up there. There wasn't nothing up there. And I think she saw Jumper.
Yeah.
Or something. Because she was almost like she was emotional, Amanda said.
The cat.
The cat. Like, it was like the cat knew something was there and was like wanting to get up there to be with it type situation. It was really strange. It freaked Amanda out. And it goes back to say that, I don't think, wherever animals go when they die, I think he just come back to visit.
Yeah, I believe that.
And just because of her response, Gremlin's response to it, she's not like cats that get old or animals that get old and end up with Alzheimer's. And she doesn't exhibit any other signs of any problem. She's a little bit skinnier than she used to be. Mm-hmm. But damn, she's 15 years old and got 6 teeth left, gets a clean bill of health from the vet. But she, for a long period of time the other day, would not quit staring in that corner up there where Jumper's remains are.
That's interesting.
And I thought that was just an odd occurrence.
Yeah, I agree.
So, but that's kind of my paranormal story for the week, is that my cat saw something and we didn't.
There you go.
But hey, we hope y'all have a glorious Eclipse Day.
Eclipse Day.
Yeah. Remember, people are going to probably be doing crazy shit out there, so don't get caught up in it. It's just a natural event. However, be careful of bending over in front of frogs, I guess, for a while. If you don't like that thing.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. But yeah, so coming up soon, we will be finishing up our series with Micah.
Yeah, Micah Singleton. I don't want to apologize for everybody or to everybody about that, but the bottom line of it is we've had a little bit of conflicting scheduling issues and stuff between us and him, and of course me and Joey got our own personal lives and stuff, not to mention work and everything else, so it's just been kind of ramshackled here recently, but we're going to get back on track. As you can see, we normally have a little bit of a catalog, a little backlog here that we have of episodes that we can kind of share with you guys, and that's what you receive every week with the podcast. Problem of it is this one's going out tomorrow, so Correct. We're trying to build that back up, and so like I said, we're just kind of pushed for time. He does have a third part for his whole story, which I think is going to be pretty awesome because it's going to bring it up to more recent time. But definitely, if you haven't gone check that out, go check it out. Listen to parts 1 and part 2. I know it can be a little long-winded, but I promise you stick with it. It's going to be a good story.
Yep. And don't forget to visit us on our social media, Facebook at Dead South Paranormal, Instagram at Dead South Paranormal, YouTube at Dead South Paranormal SC. The SC stands for South Carolina or something cool. I don't care. And then you can email us at deadsouthpodcast@gmail.com. But we're going to go ahead and call an end to this episode. We hope you enjoyed it. Y'all stay safe out there and keep it spooky.
Y'all stay safe.